Do you want to know how to encourage a shy child to speak up? Well, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting, good communication, child development, how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about shyness. So let's talk about shyness. What I have to say might actually surprise you. In this video, we're going to be talking about why children choose to be shy, when we should be worried and when we shouldn't be worried, and what we can do in a self-government way to help a person choose not to be shy. Okay, you heard me correctly. A person can choose not to be shy. It takes a lot of bravery, but they can do it. Shyness, for some people at some times in life, is completely developmentally normal. So let's say that a small child is meeting someone for the first time and they don't know what to say to that person. Okay, let's even say that an adult is meeting someone for the first time and they don't know what to say to that person. They might feel a little apprehensive. They might feel a little worried that they don't know how to start the conversation. And so they may experience what could be called shyness. But true shyness, when a person is really shy, not just shy for one moment, is when they don't open up to other people. They don't put themselves out there ever, right? Because they are actually controlling their environment. So when a person is practicing shyness a lot, it's because they don't want to step out of their comfort zone. So this is a fixed mindset where they're afraid of failure, challenges, and so they do not want to have any experience that they cannot control. When a person chooses to speak to other people or do things that they feel are new or they're not sure how the outcomes will be, those people are having a growth mindset. They are choosing to trust in a process instead of an outcome. And so they are choosing to move forward and step out of a comfort zone. So when a person practices shyness, sometimes they stop their own progression, and they even sometimes can stop the progression of other people around them because everybody is tailor-fitting things to the emotions of this person who's not wanting to engage the way that a developmentally healthy, normal person would want to engage. I'm not saying that if a person is shy, they're bad or broken or anything like that. But I am saying that it is worth a conversation. And if a person understands why they are choosing to be shy and what it could do to them, and then they make a decision to move forward, everything could change. All in that decision. Our behaviors, no matter what they are actually choices that we make. We process things inside, we ask ourselves questions, make statements to ourselves on the insides of our heads, and then when we do that, we decide how we are going to respond to those statements. Some people get worried about what questions or statements they make to themselves, and they don't want to take action. They don't want to have any outcomes that they cannot completely control. And so then they will choose shyness. I had two children who I would say practiced shyness for a while. So I took in therapeutic treatment care children for a lot of years, plus I had 4 children of my own. Of my 4 children, 2 of them were shy and 2 of them were absolutely not shy whatsoever. So the first 2 were not shy whatsoever. So I didn't ever think we would have shy children. I'm not shy, my husband's not shy. That doesn't mean I always know what to say. Sometimes I still have to pluck up the courage to go and talk to somebody who I might not want to talk to, or I don't even know what to say once I get there. That's just normal life. That's any person overcoming a tiny bit of anxiety just to move forward. That's stepping out of a comfort zone. But because I've told myself on the inside it's healthy to step out of comfort zones, I need to make myself do that. Even if I get there and I don't know what to say, something will be said so that I will know what to say, so it's just fine. Because I've told myself those things, then I don't choose shyness. But 2 of my children, once they were past the ages where I would say a little bit of shyness or apprehension is normal, so they're out of their toddler phase, suddenly they started developing true shyness, the kind where they're like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to try that. I don't want to taste that. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that little talk in the children's ministry at church. I don't want to do any of those things. And they would just shut things down. And if I tried to tell them, oh yes, we are going to do those things, they would get emotional, but I don't want to, they would say. And of course, I knew, okay, this is anxiety talking here. They're trying to control now with their emotions, hoping to appeal to my emotions so that I won't make them have to try to step out of this comfort zone. But I knew as a mother that if I allowed this to be their go-to for their lives, that they would stop themselves from doing all kinds of things. Now, do I still have some children who are better at public speaking than others? Yeah. And you know what's funny? Is the ones who are really shy, they're really amazing at public speaking. They don't necessarily want it. There was one in particular, my daughter London. She was definitely the most shy, and she is an amazing public speaker. She still doesn't like to do it or want to do it, but she can do it. And she knows she can. And she's incredible every time she opens her mouth. She has to just decide to open her mouth. She still has to push herself forward to do it, but because I didn't allow her to hold herself back when she was young, she does know that she has the skills if she wants to use them. That's the biggest difference. So let me tell you about an experience that I had with London. Now, if you've already subscribed to this channel, then you know I am all about letting the children choose, but also teaching them the consequences of their choices, because that's a big part of learning self-government. So when London was 4 years old, she was asked by the children's ministry at our church if she would give a little talk, maybe like a 2 or 3 minute talk. I knew that I needed to prepare London ahead of time, because otherwise she would for sure clam up and not want to do it. So she was very excited that she got asked to give a little talk to the children's ministry. So then she and I sat down and I said, London, how about you tell me about the topic that you're going to speak on, and I will write down all of your words for you. And we will get you a picture to go with each of those words so that you can look at the picture and show it and tell exactly what you want to say. So I wrote down every word that she had to say, and then I put those simple little words on a picture so that she could show them, hold them up and show them to another person. Then I pre-taught her before the time that she was going to give the talk. I said, London, when you give the talk, I will stand there with you if you need me to, but I will not tell you the words to say. I will not read the words on the pictures. You know this, and I know you can do it. So either you have to say it yourself or not say it at all. And if you don't say it, then you'll have to step down and not give your talk. And nobody will get to hear this great talk that you've prepared. And she said, okay, I'll do it myself. So the day came. She stood up to the little podium and she looked at her pictures and she looked at the group and she got a little worried. And she started getting a little nervous and a little shy. And she looked at me and she said, come here. And so I said, okay. And I came over and I stood next to her. I whispered in her ear, you can do this. You already know this. I'm not going to tell you what to say. I'll stand right by you though. So she stood there and she still did not want to do it. Her fear took over. At that moment, I waited in that silence, and everyone in the room, all the other children waited in the silence. And then I leaned into the microphone and I said, it looks like London is not going to give her talk today. She has prepared a very good talk for you, and maybe she will give it another time. So then she sat down and I sat down. She came and sat next to me. She looked at me and she said, Mom, I want to give my talk next week. And I said, are you really going to give it? Because we can go and talk to the leaders and ask them if you can try again next week. She's like, yes, I'm going to do it. And I said, okay. The next week, she stood up there and she held up her stuff and she gave her talk, all of it, all by herself. And I didn't even need to stand there with her. She was ready because she had the chance to fail, because I told her that she could do it and she chose not to, and she saw that that wasn't the outcome she wanted because she knew she could do it. She'd given the talk before. She knew she had to make herself do it, and she couldn't allow herself to be stuck in that little comfortable place of not ever doing it. She wanted to overcome it at that point. And that started her down the road of being a person who would choose to step out of her comfort zone. It took many experiences like that for London, time and time again. But you know what? She ended up being one of my most daring children. And her brother Porter, who was also very shy when he was young, is very outspoken. And I mean very outspoken now. And he is the type of person that has no problem talking to anyone, anywhere. He will share his beliefs, his thoughts, his political views and convictions. It doesn't matter who it is, he will share it with other people. Though he does not feel the need to control anymore. I had one foster child who told me in her teen years at age 14, well, I'm just shy. I don't want to. And I said, you can't just choose to be shy forever. Otherwise, you won't ever get anything out of life that you want. And she says, I'm not choosing, I'm shy. And I said, you are choosing. You could choose right now to just say something different, to say, I choose not to be shy, and to try something new, even if you fail. That's the thing with children that think they're shy. They're afraid of failure. So we need to teach them as parents that it's okay to fail. Stepping out of a comfort zone leads to failure sometimes. That's okay. Let's show them that's okay. Sometimes when we have to step out of our comfort zone, we need to give ourselves an instruction. Sometimes when we feel the anxiety boiling up inside, we need to give ourselves a no answer. Those two things, following instructions and accepting no answers, are two of the 4 basic skills of self-government. If you would like to learn more about how to use those skills, as well as other skills, be sure to look at more of the videos on this channel, especially the video called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. That will give you an insight to some of the skills of self-government that could help you help your shy child.